What's up? My name's Tony Ortiz. People like to think of me as a father, hard worker, entrepreneur, all things that Western society deems value in a man. But I have to tell you something. I owe my success to a dark secret. I've been struggling my whole life with bipolar 1. No, that doesn't mean that I have multiple personalities. So let me tell you a little bit about what I've learned about bipolar. So where normal people go through moods of happy and sad and happy and sad, bipolar go more like happy, extremely sad, extremely happy. And so my highs are a bit higher than normal and my lows are a bit lower than normal. I've learned to deal with it. So I had my first panic attack when I was around age 18 in high school. I was doing a standardized state test and the words just started to kind of float up off the paper. Like I was just really disoriented. I wasn't hallucinating, but I was just very, very out of it. And then I realized the teacher was asking me if I was okay. Here I was hyperventilating and tearing up and I didn't even realize it. So she asked me if I'm okay. Everybody in the room is looking at me. And I swear all of the empathy that I felt for their fear just magnified my anxiety. So I'm feeling them scared of me. I'm working my way out of the room telling people, please don't look at me. I know I would want to look too, but don't look. Traumatizing experience. But that wasn't the last one. It's my first, but far from my last. I started having them, if not every day, multiple times a day. And it got to the point where not only did other students, but nurses just think I'm faking. So I got really good at suppressing the feeling. If I felt the buildup in my chest or my hands start to get numb, I would just suppress it and go through life and pretend like I was fine and just kind of have a stoic look on my face. When I did eventually get in front of a nurse, I had explained my feelings and what I was going through, and she said, man, you explained a panic attack to the T. See, your fingers will start tingling, and around your mouth and nose, you'll start to feel really, really numb, is the best way I can explain it. Start to feel like your legs and your arms aren't there. What your body's doing is it's pulling oxygen. It thinks that you're lacking oxygen because you're hyperventilating so much, so it pulls all the blood to your chest. But anyway, once the nurse said, man, he's having panic attacks, she got me to a psychiatrist who, in about 5 or 10 minutes, diagnosed me with bipolar 1. I'm like, come on, man. You've met me for 10 minutes. You've known me, you know nothing about my family history, and you're going to diagnose me with bipolar, a lifelong disease. So I rebelled. I thought that he was wrong. I was given medicine and the side effects were terrible. I mean, from thoughts of suicide to worsening anxiety to more frequent panic attacks. I mean, it seemed like the medicine was doing the opposite of what I had signed up for. So I stopped taking it. And I will stand here and I'll be accountable. I was not being honest with my psych. I wasn't telling him about my teenage alcohol use. I wasn't really involved in my therapy, so I can't blame it all on the doctors. But I did try to seek out holistic ways for the next 10 years. Throughout my 20s, I tried things like exercise, reading all sorts of things that lower anxiety, avoiding caffeine, running. I got really into running, good diet, making sure that I slept. The thing about bipolar is it gets worse as you get older. So I was just kind of holding off the inevitable that I would have a breakdown eventually. So towards my late 20s, I did start to get worse and worse. And my anxiety was not the sort of anxiety like, oh no, I'm gonna be late for work. My anxiety was, okay, a cop pulls out of a McDonald's behind me and I'm replaying getting shot over and over in my head. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm worried that if I don't get enough sleep, I'm gonna have a panic attack in public and something bad is gonna happen because I'm a large man to just be freaking out in public, I'll admit. My anxiety was off the chains. It led to insomnia. It led to racing thoughts, mania, which I can describe in a little bit. But I finally decided, you know what, I need to get help. Mania is like, you hear them talk about people like Kanye West having these grandiose thoughts and being super hyper creative. Mania is like my superpower. When I am manic or hypomanic, which is a smaller, like 4-day version of mania, I can sleep for 4 hours, eat about a sandwich a day, and work 14, 15, 16 hours, sleep a little bit, do it all over again. My exercises, for example, one time it was about 4 a.m. and the bus didn't come for 2 hours and I wanted to be to work early. So I got on my bike and drove 12 miles along a dark side of the river with nothing but a little headlight on so I could be to work early. And that seemed like a good idea at the time because I was up, I had a bunch of energy, and your thoughts are just jumbled. I've had experience where it seems like people are talking too slow, taking way too long to get to the point. Your mind is thinking so fast that it jumps to the solution and starts filling in the blanks for the steps that led up to that solution. So normal conversation that goes back and forth between people gets very frustrating. I'll admit I can get very overbearing when I'm in my manic phases, so I tend to just keep to myself and work. But those have been some ways that I've managed it, although not the healthiest, I'll admit. When I was 30, I finally decided to get treatment because the anxiety was just way too frequent. The thoughts of somebody killing me, whether it be the cops or somebody following me, was just, the paranoia was crazy. So I finally got in touch with a psychiatrist who decided to treat me with a mood stabilizer rather than an antidepressant. Now, the thing about antidepressants is they'll treat the depression, but they don't do anything for the mania. In fact, they make the mania worse. Mania is not talked about because people go to the doctor when they're sad. They don't go to the doctor when they're happy. So antidepressants push me into further mania, but by treating the mood stabilization, my highs and lows that used to go like this started to slowly come back here to the normal. And I'll admit, there were things that didn't make me as happy as I felt like they should, and I struggled with that for a bit. I had to learn how to be normal. But all of my fears of being this science experiment for the psychiatry and the big pharmaceutical companies, I said, let me just be my own damn science experiment. I journaled. I looked at everything from what I was eating to how often I was sleeping. I tracked my moods. I wrote down whether it was dreams I was having or anxieties I was feeling. Did something change in my medicine? Did something change in my diet? Did I have too much caffeine? What was my sleep like? Everything became an experiment to figure out, how do I get a hold and how do I figure out what is normal of my bipolar cycle, what is just normal good health, and what is the medicine, and what's the medicine doing for me. Working with my doctor, working with talk therapy every week, I was able to get a hold of everything. My life is manageable now. I'm able to get a good night's sleep, exercise regularly. I don't feel overworked. I don't feel that I'm working too hard. I'll admit I do work a little bit more than average, but it's not enough to send me into a nervous breakdown or spiraling out of control. I don't tell you that I have everything together. My life is far from perfect, but I don't say this to impress you. I say this to impress upon you. There is another side, man. I know it's easy for me to sit here after getting help and sound like a commercial for getting talk therapy and getting a psychiatrist, but if I could just be an example for one man out there, one person, to go ahead and say, let's fight this stigma. Let's say, you know what? It's not being a man hiding your feelings. It's not being a man suppressing these thoughts and holding everything inside and just going around and putting on a face like it's normal. Being a man is being vulnerable and opening up with a doctor, getting help when you know you need it. So look, I'm not calling anybody out. If you know you need it, that's cool. You can inbox me or you can hit me up privately and I'll let you know more about my story and how I can help you. But listen, man, happy Mental Health Month. We got to fight this stigma. Tony Ortiz. Peace.